Greg Martyr here, Executive Chairman of Capital Metals. We have the Eastern Minerals Project in the east of Sri Lanka, one of the highest grade undeveloped projects in the world.
Greg, good to see you. I wish it was under better circumstances. Looks like you've been spurned by Sheffield investment market, didn't like it. Give me an update.
Yeah, look, it's disappointing, when you're on a path, and we have been for quite some time, and we built up expectations that we'd deliver on the deal. It was a real kick in the pants for not getting it done. But it was one of those things, I've been in resources M&A and listed company resources M&A for over 30 years. And you've always got to have a plan B and a plan C and maybe even a plan D, and Sheffield was our plan B. I was pretty confident we weren't going to need a plan C, but this is what happens. It was sort of the opposite of a positive alignment. Their share price reacted quite badly to some increase in costs and some operational issues. Everything seems to be under control there, but the market sort of put them in the penalty box right at the time when we were trying to close the deal. And then they lost about half their market cap. Their market cap went down to under 80 million US dollars. And they just built a $500 million Australian dollar project. So it's operating. And the implied value of our deal, when the LB transaction was about 160, so we didn't actually go public on what it was with Sheffield, but you get a flavour of it. Basically, the implied value of our deal was bigger than their market cap at the time because of their share price hit. So I can understand why they struggled with the decision, and they need to keep their cash, show their shareholders they're doing the right thing. So as the executive chairman of Sheffield, Bruce Griffin, said to me, that age-old breakup adage, this is not about you, this is about me. And so that doesn't make you feel great, but it makes, at least we know it wasn't about us or about the asset. And the asset, we know, is just getting stronger and stronger. And now it's, for us to pick ourselves up and get on with plan C.
Well, okay, so on prom night, you've been ditched, but what do you do? Do you go to the prom by yourself? Is that plan A?
Oh, look, we'll keep an eye on the proms, but we will be very, very selective, and we will make sure that, we'll be playing a low key, certainly with the market, and we will be only coming out if something is absolutely certain or something is really compelling and way better than the go it alone approach, which is the path we're going down now.
Right, and I guess the two things there. One, they stumped up a bit of money. You get to keep the bouquet, do you?
Yeah, we do. We do. We've got the wedding ring.
Stop this prom analogy, but you know what I mean. They gave you what, over $1 million?
Yeah, at £1.25 million at just under 4p. So we've now got 2.8 million US. We think in US, 2.8 million US in the bank. So we're solid, right? We're solid to the plan. I've redone the budget already, including hiring some new senior people and doing a fairly aggressive but smart exploration program. And I'm very confident we will have a substantial resource uptick just on the program that we've outlined.
Okay, so let's just look at the money side of things. There was another thing I do want to talk about, potential other partnerships going forward, but which may not be top of the list of people's the conversation people want to hear right now. But with the money, you got this money, you're going to have to kind of give some confidence back to the market, right? Because your stock was absolutely hammered off the back of this.
Yeah.
I think great expectations. It says to me that the market thought that you couldn't do this on your own. You needed that partnership. You needed someone else's balance sheet to kind of get this thing over the line. What's the reality? Is that true?
When I've been executive chairman in this for about 18 months. And when I first came into it, I went, this is a no-brainer. We've got to get somebody who's done this internationally. My background is in resources, but it's more in hard rock, base metals, mineral sands. The first stage is pretty simple, but some of the latter stages of processing can get a bit more complex. And so I said, no, we want to get somebody that's been out there. We want to have a solid balance sheet, and we want to accelerate the project. But our original plan.
Let me be clear. Somebody meaning an individual or meaning a partner company?
No, mainly it was about a partner company. So the two companies we were talking about LB, which is they were the off taker, and this didn't necessarily bring that operational experience, but they do operate themselves. And Bruce was more the operational experience and balance sheet, but obviously the balance sheet got put under pressure.
But answer my question then. The question was, the market suggests the market didn't think you could do this on your own. Are you going to have to do this on your own because there are no other options, or will you look to find a partner? And if so, how do those things work? Because you're going to have to be a little bit more careful about bringing in a partner company, because if something as well as seemingly small as our costs have gone up, have shredded Sheffield, that they were in a very delicate position, right? Or you try and find someone who can run this company for you, because it's really quite a simple process, one would expect with mineral sands. How do you play both of those options going forward?
Well, we are saying we don't need any other party. We can do this ourselves, and I am dead confident that we can. The more and more I was going through the conversations, the more I went, hang on, why are we giving up 50% of this project to bring somebody else in? We hire the right people, and we go about it in the right way, in a staged way, which is what we're going to do. We can do this ourselves. So we get ourselves into a position where, and this is sort of classic operational strategy and M&A strategy. Show that you can do it on your own. You don't need the dance partner, but if there's a really attractive partner, that brings the bouquet right in both hands, I'll talk to them. But I'm not going to be trumpeting anything until they can show me that it's a better deal.
Okay, without going too Miley Cyrus on this, it's like when you say we can do this ourselves, you can write your name in the sand yourself. Talk me through what you think that looks like, because you're going to need the right people to deliver this. Have you got the right people? Can you find the right people? Will you find the right people?
Yeah, we were obviously talking to people that were going to run the project for the joint venture. I'm still talking to those people, and a tick to the credibility of the project. They're still interested in talking to us without Sheffield. So I'm pretty confident we're going to go down that path, get the right people on board, and people will see that. We will spend a little bit of time coming out with a plan that shows we'll stage it. Our original plan was to do 550,000 tonnes per year of heavy metal concentrate. That's the easiest part of the project. We can do that ourselves. We've spoken to some operational, the likes of Mineral Technologies and IHC, and vendor finance is available. So we think we can vendor finance, and I don't want to go into the traditional project debt. That's something like this. That's a pain in the ass. But we can also talk about offtake financing. I mean, LB, we've said to them right from the start, we're more than open to talk to them about offtake financing. So with a combination of that, I don't think we'd need a huge amount of equity to get into that first stage of production. And I think, with the exploration program, I've openly said our target, and it's a fairly short-term target, is to double the resource. So we double the resource, we get into production, we tick those boxes, we show the world that Sri Lanka is allowing us to operate. We will be a much more attractive dance partner for anybody. And then we will be able to choose as well. I think we'll be in a better position to say, no, we're doing okay. I probably will spend
doubling the resource. Why not? If I look at the models that have your business models that companies have changed to over the past couple of years because of they're all cash strapped, is get into production earlier, get some revenue flowing, and worry about expanding later. Why double the revenue now? What's that do for you?
Well, because the asset absolutely deserves it, and we haven't been able to do it justice because we haven't had the cash to do it. We're well funded to be able to do it. And just to say, why, to demonstrate how, the fact that the asset has not, it justifies spending this money. The resource we did in 2016 was based on 1,600 holes, about 2,400 meters of drilling. Average drill depth was about 1.6, right? Because we did that by hand auger.
1.6 what?
Meters, 1.6 meters.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I forgot that bit.
Because we can only go down to the level of the groundwater. Now you can mine below groundwater all around the world. At the moment, our EIA says we can only go to the groundwater, but we're in the process of demonstrating that the rest of the world does it. We think the base rock's about 10 metres. So this program is going to go down, 10, 12, 14 metre holes with air core and sonic potentially. And it's a no-brainer, and it won't cost us much money to be able to make, to demonstrate that this thing has huge potential. So I know another reason to do it.
Okay, sorry to get in the weeds here, but you're in a position where I don't think you can afford to stumble going forward. So I want to be clear about how simple the process is for you to go forward. So you get shallow drilling, you want to go a little bit deeper, which you may or may not need to do now, but to double the resource, let's come back to that one because that's important. Yes, it may deserve it, but who cares? Does a partner who may come in or an off-take partner who comes in need you to double this resource to be interested in you, or could you get on with it? I'm trying to work out where this is. This an emotional reaction? Is this a bit more commercial reaction?
No,
Why?
it's a good question. So we've had a number of companies look at this over the years just because it stands out. I mean, if you look at our grade chart compared to our peers, we really stand out as being the highest grade project in the world. So the other guys that have looked at it have said, love it, love that grade, love the simplicity of the project, but at 17 million tonnes, just a bit small for us to bother to go to a new country. If we start to, 50 million tonnes, felt like that was getting close to a magic number for some of the companies to say, okay, now it's real. So, with a little bit of a program, I can't tell you whether our program is going to double it, but I'm very confident that and the budget we've got is under $200,000, so we're not going to blow ourselves up on this, is going to give encouragement that we have a very clear path to achieve our objectives of doubling the resource. That's what I think we'll get out of this. I don't think we'll actually hit the double straight away. We may, but I'm sure that people will see that this thing has got the right flavour.
The point is, it's 200,000. You're not blowing your entire budget trying to double this for whatever. So 200,000, fine. Fine. I think people understanding that, I think they'll get that. So let's go back to this kind of competitive tension thing. Like, say, if I've been in a conversation with you and you've said, actually, no, thank you very much in the past, maybe now I'm not that inclined to give you as good a deal if you go back to the table with them. Or do you feel that because the nature of the project and the potential margin that the appeal is still there?
There's no question the appeal is still there. And I mean, the dynamic also in the global mineral sand space is there aren't that many good quality business development opportunities. And we know that, and Bruce Griffin knew it, LB knew it, that's why they were talking to us. That hasn't changed. And what we're trying to do is, by doubling the resource, it'll look more attractive. We'll prove that what we've been saying for a long time is right. And by getting anything into production, all in M&A activity, first thing they look at is, you got your permit, and then the second one is, have you been able to get into production? So you tick those boxes, we're in a lot stronger position to play or not to play, or to do keep going on our own and pay dividends.
Right. Okay. So asset hasn't changed. It's still good. You say the Dallas partner may change, and that's fine. But if it doesn't, you feel that you might be able to get this thing into production yourself. Now that's going to require money, which is in short supply out there, it seems, for junior exploration companies. You don't want conventional debt, but you are going to have to get some equity at some point. Can you remind me the sense of the scale of a kind of CapEx project for something like this? I know mineral sounds really simple and it's relatively cheap, but I need to remind myself what that could look like. Are you going to be blowing out your balance sheet, share structure, etc., to do that if you went yourself?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to, with the new people, Touchwood, when they come on board, we will, over the next 6 weeks, spend a fair bit of time getting more clarity on that. But if you go back to our old PEA from 2022, that had a staged approach. And it was a 4-stage approach. The first stage was $37 million and that got us to positive cash flow. And we were then self-funding for the other stages beyond that. What we know there was a lot of fat in that, and we've had conversations, as I said, with the proper parties out there that actually supply the equipment. We think we can do it for a lot less. How much less? Don't know. And then we hadn't spoken to them about actually doing vendor finance, but they're open because there aren't that many new projects on the market. So I don't want to build expectations up too much because we've got more homework to do, and I want to have the right team on board to be doing that homework. And so that I've got to tick that box first, get them across the site, and then we sit down with the likes of MTs and IHC and others and say, how's this going to work? So that's probably a 2-month process. In the meantime, hopefully drilling is ticking along, and we'll have visual results that will be quite compelling, I think, and we'll be releasing those as the program goes on.
Okay, so what's the one thing? What's the one thing that you think, if you can achieve that one thing, the market should, stop and take notice, because this is going to get back on track? Because at the moment it kind of feels, according to the market, this thing it's got no chance. What's the one thing I should look for?
It's a good question. I'd like to say 2 things, but you said 1.
Go on, give me 2.
Okay.
Yes, nicely.
Okay. I think you're really compelling visual and numerical exploration results. I'm going to step out and give you a bit more. Hiring a really decent person, right? And then coming out in that 6 to 8 weeks with the plan that's a compelling plan it won't be financed, but it'll have a finance plan, and people will say, oh, okay, they're not going to blow up the cash they have. They know what they're doing. They've got time to get this right. Sure, there's going to be some equity required in 9-12 months, but and what we want to show them, it's not going to be a huge amount, and it's not going to blow the company up. All right, so hopefully we have that, tick those boxes, get back to a decent share price by the time we actually need to say, here it is, it's $5-10 million of equity is what we need to bridge that gap.
Okay, well, come and see me when you've done it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking in the meantime.